I had just won 6 splits, went to the World Finals. I was quite arrogant as a coach towards my own coaching ability. And suddenly the game changed and I didn't change with it.
Hello everyone, this is Darius from the Shotcaller, joined once again by Youngbuck after another win for Fnatic. 6-7 is the score. Pretty good.
Yeah, considering we were 0-4, I think we're 5-2 in our last 7 games or so. So can't really complain. The race for playoffs is still there, and we're making a solid comeback.
And today was a very good day for you guys, not just because you got the win against Schalke, you know, a very strong team, tough to beat for a lot of teams. Getting that win is nice, but also, you know, Misfits lost, SK lost. Good for you guys in terms of the standings.
It was a very good day for us. Yeah, our direct competitors lost, so we're even right now, and we have a relatively easy schedule compared to some of the teams. I actually fear a lot for Splice, for example, because I think they've already had Rogue and Excel. And I think SK still has Rogue left. They do, don't they? Yeah. Or they lost to Excel, so they still have Rogue left. We still have Rogue and Excel left. And I know that Splice still has to play like Schalke, Vitality, G2, Fnatic. Sure. So they have a really tough schedule, and they have like only 1 game buffer. So winning today was a really big deal because you know that's a team that we're also looking at overtaking, not just Misfits and SK.
I mean, realistically, at the end of the day, isn't Misfits 2-0 against you guys as well? No, okay, I'm incorrect there. But SK is, so that's not good for the standings if it does come down to if you guys are tied with them.
Yeah, Misfits is not 2-0 yet.
So, what do you make of today's performance? Lots of early game. And then execution, Broxah gets to press the R button and is a happy man doing his thing there. Has the team now kind of found the vibe, found the identity that you were looking for in the first few weeks?
I wouldn't say we have a really strong identity. I think we have found really good ways to band-aid our weaknesses from the early game and have also improved our early game at the same time. And I just feel like every Friday we just get every draft that we have on the board. We're like, okay, we want to first pick this, then that, then that, then that, and that, and then we get all 5 of these champions, like last Friday. I don't know how it happens. I don't know how it happens, you know, because we are watching the LEC games and we're laughing like, we were not getting Silas. Like they checked your solo queue, Tim. You're not getting Silas. So we had like, of course, backup plans, a lot of backup plans, but then we just get first pick Silas, and everyone's like, okay, I guess we are going to win this game. Having said that, I think our performance was very poor from a team play point of view. We did not control the game with our lead and let them get back into the game. I felt like the game was way too slow. We had way more opportunities to actually grow our lead, because I think we sat on a 5K gold lead for roughly 10, 12 minutes maybe. And the Fnatic I want to see does not sit on a gold lead for 5K and doesn't grow that lead to 7, 8, 9K.
In a very short time, of course, and you know. Get ahead and punish them while they're down, essentially. Now, that said, though, I feel like Bwipo in particular had a really, really good game. Really, you know, gets the first blood solo kill, teleports bot and gets kills there, and, you know, gets your team advantages there. Was it nice to see him pop off in particular, given that, you know, last week Bwipo was very open in my interview as well about not being too happy with those games from his personal perspective?
Yeah, I think he wasn't happy because he wasn't given too many resources, and he knew that he had to like keep his TP, lose some minions just to TP bot lane and get them ahead at some point, and that was his job. So I think he's really happy that he actually got some resources, at least in the sense that he got the flash advantage level 1, which, you know, we didn't necessarily plan for, but nice to have. And then Bwipo is a phenomenal laner, so if he gets a lead, he will use it, and they showed that today. Also want to say, Odomna probably troll picked. I don't know what happened when they picked Vladimir into Jarvan. We've seen that someone tried that against Misfits as well. It was SK against Misfits. It's just not a good matchup. From level 1 to 18, it's not a good matchup. So it's a little bit of a strange pick, but yeah.
Yeah, from level 1 to 18, that's a long time in the game. So maybe that's a good lesson to learn. That of course Schalke can drop down in their notes as well. What do you think of Schalke right now? Because you know they are in a pretty hard slump. Lost their last 3 games now.
I actually think they're 1-5 in the last 6 games, right? I think so. I mean, I checked their drafts and everything on the internet. I don't know if I can like say the names of the website, so I just won't. And you just see like red because that's defeat. I think they had a very strong identity going into the split. I think they were a really good early game team as well. There were picks in the meta that were really good for them, and looking especially at like Camille, Lissandra was really strong, and they these are these guys' champions. And now Lissandra's falling a little bit out of favor because there are counters to it. And Camille has, of course, got it. AD carries are back, which I don't think hurt Schalke, but it's a thing. And in general, I just think that the mid to late game got a small buff recently. So this hurt Schalke a lot.
ADCs are back, which of course makes Reckless happy as well, to a large extent. How much does the team right now rely on Reckless, or if at all, or on bot lane?
He's part of the team. I don't know what answer you're expecting. Like he's capable of carrying games, obviously. So he's a player you can always say, let's put resources into him. He'll drag us across the finish line. I think he's very comfortable in the current meta. I think he can play all the champions. He can even play mages like Lucian with 2 Doran's Ring maxing W. That's a joke, you know. But it's the right way to build the champion, I think. But yeah, I just think he's very comfortable in the meta right now, together with Hillisang as well. So they're capable of carrying, and if the draft just happens that way, then we'll take it.
What were your personal thoughts on players criticizing draft and that kind of stuff? For example, the Euphoria episode, there were criticisms there on, like, you know, general draft issues, but also the Kassadin pick and something like that. Of course, you discuss these things with the players, but at the end of the day, coaches usually have the final say about these things. So hearing that kind of criticism, how did you react and work with the team in order to fix these issues?
I think something that people misunderstood a lot is that they were not flaming the Kassadin pick. Everyone agrees Kassadin was a good pick. It's just we as a team are just so bad at early game and playing around champions that require multiple layers of steps to actually activate them,
Make it work, right?
That this is not the champion for us. And that's something we realized, that it's very difficult to pull off champions, you know, maybe another time. Like just get some wins on the board, play easy champions that don't require much, that can get priority on their own, for example, or can control the river on their own, like from the jungle perspective or the support's perspective. So it's more like play easy to win champions, draft some good lanes, draft some good junglers. I don't know, just draft good and not wait for late game as much, and just keep it simple.
And this is the third interview we've done with the split. In the first one, you were like, well, 0-2. Bad start, but, you know, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Second one was in week 3, was it? And you guys were still struggling, and you were like, I need to fix some things about me. I need to fix some things with the team, of course. We really need that early game going. 2 negative interviews, so to speak, or within bad phases. Now Fnatic is fully back on in the playoffs race. Won 3 games in a row where, realistically speaking, I would say, if you get 2 wins out of the 3, that's already definitely a score to be proud of. Winning all 3 games against Vitality, Origin, and Schalke is phenomenal. So, what's the general mood like, and what can we now expect of the current Fnatic lineup? Like, in terms of tiers, where should we view them?
First of all, momentum is a cruel mistress. We were winning a lot of scrims and had a really good atmosphere in the preseason. Then we went 0-2, and it was still like, okay, can happen. We were still winning most of our scrims, but you could see our scrim rate really drop. And then we went 0-2 again, and then the atmosphere really went further down. And that's actually when we started losing most of our days in scrims. Like you play like 5-6 games, you call it a win if you go 4-2. We started going below 50% for like roughly 2 weeks, and then we found a win here and there on stage, and then you felt that the momentum was going upwards. And right now I think we're back in the 75-80% stage with better League of Legends. I still think that today, for example, was bad League of Legends from start to finish, and there was a lot of individual outplays required instead of like really strong macro understanding, both early, mid, and late game. So still not too happy, but it does show we're good enough to beat teams that people consider like contenders for like the number 2 spot, and that is probably the most important thing right now, that we have this momentum going. And that we know ourselves that we can make a run for playoffs and then also make a deep run in the playoffs when we make it.
Would you, when you look at your career so far, was this one of the more or even most difficult times for you as a coach, given that, you know, you come into the season as the world's finalists? Yes, you change the roster, but at the end of the day, it's still 4 starting players that remain the same and all this kind of stuff. There's this expectation and pressure, and then it just goes to shit. Was that one of the most difficult phases of your coaching career?
I think so, yeah. It was definitely the most difficult split so far, hands down. It's very difficult to say anything else. Maybe like the summer after we went in the finals at MSI with G2. It was also very tough because it was a very similar situation. We came off a very high, and then you have to come back, and that's very difficult. So it was a very difficult split. I had just won 6 splits, went to the World Finals. I was quite arrogant as a coach towards my own coaching ability. And suddenly the game changed, and I didn't change with it because the game became way more early game related. I still was coaching my mid to late game. It was working in scrims, but then again, it's not always representative of what's going to happen on stage. And we were not really looking at the early game intentionally as well. It was like, okay, we're going to focus the first month on just the basics on mid to late game. And we get smashed on stage a couple of games. And then I had to take a really hard look in the mirror and see, this arrogant, cocky coach maybe is not as good as he thinks he is, and needs to actually learn and adapt to the way the League of Legends is played right now.
And then you fixed it to an extent.
And then we fixed it to an extent. I think the knowledge right there is there right now. At least there's a lot of knowledge increase, and I think our assistant coach Mephisto is very good at early to mid game as well, so he's been very helpful. And now that we're here, we're trying to transfer the knowledge, which is still like the most difficult part because we can't play for the players. It's very easy for us to look at the game and not have our hands on the mouse and keyboard to be like, yeah, we should be doing this, this, and that. But the player has a lot of things going on in his head, in his hands, and in his hands. So the knowledge transfer is still going on. But soon enough, hopefully, it will be the new bread and butter of Fnatic to be a really good early game team.
The transfer of knowledge between coach and player is always the most difficult part of a coach. I've heard from people like, Pep Guardiola and stuff. So a few people that know what they're talking about. Lastly, you just released, or Fnatic released a new episode of Life of Legends, is the series called. You guys went playing football indoor. Was some interesting scenes from you kicking Broxah in the head with a ball accidentally through a reflection. What is your favorite position to play in football on like a general field?
So I've played 2 positions when I was younger. First was like center forward, I think is the right word, but I could also play on the wings. That was more when I was younger, and then when I was like 11 or 12, I went full-time goalkeeping. So I was a goalkeeper for most of my football endeavors. And I just remember in G2, I think everyone used to be there were like 4 players that used to be a goalkeeper or something. So that was really fun. But yeah, I would say goalkeeper, but I've played midfield, I've played center forward.
It is really funny because I think you are like at this point the 10th person in esports that I know of that has been a goalkeeper. Like goalkeepers are vastly overrepresented in esports. I was also a goalkeeper, so goes to show.
Yeah, it requires more brain and less micro, right? Yeah. We need ball control.
And you need like insane, mental to go one-on-one with a striker.
Yeah, I love the mind games, especially like the penalties.
It's so good, yes.
Too bad that they didn't film it, but there was a penalty in the video. I stopped it.
Oh.
Yeah. Mephisto was a goalkeeper. I told him, get the fuck out of this goal. I'm doing this one, and I stopped it. Because we played staff versus players, and we smashed them.
That's how it should be. That's how it should be to make them, realize who's the boss on the field.
Yeah, and we were like 3 pretty overweight guys, no conditioning, so it was pure macro on the football field.
Pure galaxy brain.
Yeah.
Good stuff. What's the hashtag for today? We already had hashtag comeback, and you guys made it happen, so it needs to be a new one.
What do we have? Hashtag Silas is OP.
How about hashtag goalkeepers OP?
Yeah, that's a really good one. I like it.
Thank you. Hashtag goalkeepers OP for the people that watch until the end. Anything you want to say to the Fnatic fans?
Always appreciate the support that you guys give us. Sorry to keep you guys waiting with the victories for so long, but here we are. Hopefully, you guys are proud of us now. We're really trying to adjust our gameplay to make not only ourselves happy, but of course also all the fans and the community out there.
And make sure to watch the Life of Legends episode where he accidentally shoots Broxah in the face through a reflection.
I felt really bad for that. Also, the clip where they showed the bloopers for Broxah was really unfair because he's really good at football.
Yeah.
And he's the only one in the team who has like good conditioning, like good lungs. He can actually run back and forth a couple of times. And
he doesn't have good lungs? What?
He does, but he had a really good strategy.
Yeah.
He said, I'm going to take it really slow early on and wait for people to tire out, and then I'm going to play the game. So he's very, very clever, late game oriented, just like on the Rift. Yeah, very, very smart.
Good strategy for sure. And Boxer just powered through the entire time essentially.
Yeah, this guy just keeps running, and he's good at it too.
Yeah, and he has a very strong shot. I really like the Hulk jersey that he wore. Fantastic player to watch, of course. Do you have a favorite player, like in general?
I used to have Edgar Davids, the Dutch player,
yeah.
very old school, yeah.
I mean, FIFA 2003, all the people remember 2002.
Yeah. And since I was a goalkeeper, Edwin van der Sar, Dutch, of course. And I really liked Arthur Boruc. As a goalkeeper for Celtic Rangers, I think. I don't even know if that's the right word. I haven't watched football in so long. But he has the really different style, and he was really cocky and arrogant, which I was not at all, but I really looked up to him.
Yeah. It's funny, because like, I don't view myself as arrogant. Some people have told me I'm arrogant, but usually I don't view myself as such. But I really like Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who's, insanely arrogant and cocky, but yeah, that's sometimes how it goes. Zlatan Ibrahimovic and Ronaldinho are my favorites, personally. Legends. #GoalkeepersOP. This was Youngbuck. Make sure to follow him on Twitter. And there is on the Shotcaller. Hope you guys have a good day. See you guys then. Bye-bye. We'd especially like to thank Krzysztof Bujnovic, Etienne, Thomas Göttel, Dominik Bolze, Lazy Raven, Adam Novosviat, Erich Althaus, and La Maviota for your very special support. And of course, also, we'd like to thank all the people whose names you see scrolling past you right now. And of course, also all the people that like, comment, subscribe, and support our work. Without you, our work wouldn't be possible. Thank you very much.